So, mankind is constantly trying to grow, trying to evolve, trying to manifest, trying to discover new ways to access the brain, the neural paths, to rewire it so that, we can become better versions of ourselves. Now, there are three key stages of mankind. And if we look at it like this, so there's Homo sapiens, where we're intelligent life beings. But if we apply the lessons we learn in life, then we get to the secondary stage, which is known as Homo noeticus, which is people of knowledge in Latin. And then you have Homo luminous, which is people of the light, or people who are evolved, or light beings, so to speak. So this is our goal. Our goal is to get there, and the only way is going through the heart and doing kind deeds and involuntary acts, like voluntary acts of kindness and caring and praying or meditating. But it's so important to just emulate and to try and be a good person. There's no point in doing prayers and doing mantras and then you're horrible to somebody else. You have to be kind to every single human being. It doesn't matter who they are. Now, I'm more conversant with Islam, with spiritual Islam, so I'm going to talk about it and the effects it's had. But I know that this phrase is universal and it predates Islam, and it goes way back to the time of Moses, actually. And this phrase is, it's like rocket fuel to propel you into your heart. Now, the phrase is La ilaha illallah. And that phrase means there is no one except for the one, or there is no God except for one God. It can also mean there is no love except for pure unconditional love. Now, we can apply it to our lives, and if we apply it, it has that very, very strong effect of overcoming the ego, because the ego is always inside us saying there's no one but me, me, me. But because you're saying there's no one except for the one, you negate the ego. Now, like I said, in the time of Moses, so Moses asked God, what can I say to my people to help them to become closer to you? And God told him, tell them to say my favorite words. And he says, what are they? And he said, my favorite phrase is La ilaha illallah. And then he said, Moses, if you were to have a giant scale and to put La ilaha illallah on one side, and you were to put all the oceans and the universes and the worlds on one, La ilaha illallah would still outweigh it, because you're reiterating the oneness of God. You're accepting that there is only one God in this world. Now, bearing in mind, Ilaha is also the same word for God in the language of Christ, in Aramaic. So, La ilaha illallah, I'm going to go deeper into it. So, La ilaha illallah basically is made out of 12 letters. Now, if we look at the physiological aspect of the human, we have 12 cranial nerves, we have 12 key acupuncture meridians, and we have 12 key chakras. Now, each letter of La ilaha illallah is supported by an archangel. So you have Jibril supporting the first, and then you have Mikhail the second, and then Raphael supporting the third letter, and it goes on like that. So, and each letter represents a name of God that is so unique and divine, and each letter represents a mercy ocean of divine love within the heavenly realm. So when you say La ilaha illallah, those angels pour each of those beautiful oceans of love upon you. So your auric field gets supercharged. You get dressed in these beautiful lights of God's names, and then also it strings up the 12 cranial nerves, creates balance, and then your crown chakra opens, light pours through your crown, hits your heart, has a spinning effect, and reprograms your body just with pure divine love. So you end up becoming like a walking vessel of pure love. Now, on the scientific level, or on a very practical level, we release DMT into our system naturally at a steady rate. And when we go to sleep, we release it on a higher rate, and that sets us into a state of REM sleep. So DMT is also known as the God molecule in the West, and a lot of people go to shamans and they drink ayahuasca to get instant sort of like enlightenment. But what happened, the amazing thing is that they measured someone in a laboratory, saying they monitored them, and this person started reciting La ilaha illallah. And when they recited La ilaha illallah, what happened is that the pineal gland started producing a huge amount of DMT and releasing it into the system and into the body. So what happens, it has a natural sort of like calming effect, and give sort of like a euphoric feel as well, but then without spacing out the person, so the person wasn't like carried away or in like a crazy euphoric state where they couldn't like they weren't in a state of illusion or a state of being drunk. So saying la ilaha illallah is actually very safe. So when you're saying it, you're releasing those feel good hormones into your body, you're balancing your body, everything about you is getting balanced, you're connecting with the heavens, you're connecting with your heart, you're overcoming the ego. And of course the ego will hate you saying this. And then, like I said, it has all these beautiful effects on the neurosystems, because you're now wiring up the neural parts in your brain, but with positive affirmations, because irrespective, it's still a beautifully positive affirmation. Thanks for listening.